Hello and welcome to our Friday webinar. We are back with Lisa Bono, and hi Lisa. She has a very special topic today, which is going to be a lot of demonstrations. I think a little bit of demo going on here. Lisa's going to walk us through some exercise tips and tricks to get your bird moving. So I hope everyone, maybe people can clear some space in their area to kind of join along if there's any kind of movement involved with this. This is something that's important for every people, humans and animals is exercise. So hopefully this will inspire some ideas on how to get your what's the saying, the catchphrase, your perch potato off the perch and moving around, right?
Exactly.
Okay, just as we wait for people to log in, I'm so excited to unveil this video. I think people may have seen it years ago, or they may have seen it. I think we might even had it when we had the Melissa Kaufman on with us last October, reminiscing about our bird talk days. And we got to rehatch this video because it's so fun. I love this video so much. This is back in the day at Bird Talk when we wanted to get a video of bird inspired exercises for humans. And Melissa was the trooper. I was originally supposed to be in the costume, and I talked her into it because she was up for anything. So Brenda, if you want to cue the video so we can share the screen and show people what I'm talking about, but I don't know why this is destined to be a viral hit someday. I think this is the Birdie Burn video on bird inspired exercises. So yeah, I think that costume was made for us by Susan Chamberlain, who was one of our Bird Talk columnists back in the day. We've got, yeah, there we go. The wing flap. There is some music there's some music accompaniments, but I don't know if it's the music playing. The egg play. I can't stop giggling every time knowing that's Melissa doing that because she's, yeah. See, macaws, now isn't there some truth behind that? Macaws kind of do that play lunge and people think they're going to get them and they're just kind of laugh it off, the macaws. Is that kind of, I think that's what's inspiring that move. And then of course the Kaik hop is, oh boy, I hope everyone's enjoying this as much. I just remembered this so much. Cockatoo pace, yes. There we go. See the back of the costume there. So I think she's a double yellowhead Amazon. Mm-hmm. And then the classic, the step up. Oh, we got the music. Okay, right. Yeah, sorry. The whole video has the music in the background. Anyways, that was a bow tie production, which was part of Bird Talk back in the day. Thank you for sharing that video, Brenda. There we go.
And I am glad you did not ask me to do that.
If I had that costume, I would have mailed it out to you and said, hey, I can't find it.
I'll have to have Susan make me a gray one. There you go.
There you go. All right, if you're on, Susan, there's your next project. All right, well, that was, okay, so now, so let's have you take it over. I think you have a screen share for us and some exercises and all that good stuff. So again, welcome everybody. If you're just joining us, we're going to learn some awesome exercises for your bird to try.
And just give me a second to get where I need to be. Let's see. All right, I'm having a hard time getting everybody off my screen. Speaker.
Maybe we can embed that video in the YouTube recording of that dance video.
All right, now how am I? It's not getting rid of everybody off the screen for me.
Let's see. You should just be able to do a screen share.
Okay, go there. Let's try it from there.
Yep.
There we go. And then I hide everybody. Okay. So what I did behind me, you'll see all my birds, and they have a lot of stuff that they're playing with and foraging for and keeping busy behind me. So with your view, when you're able to watch the presentation, Sometimes you can have the speakers bigger or smaller depending on how you have it set. So if anybody's watching behind me and has a split screen, you'll have to let me know if these guys are foraging behind me and what they are doing. So we are going to start out. Oops. Okay. So we're going to talk about exercise and why it's so important and why you really need to engage your parrot to do it. I've had just about every species of birds, and I've definitely had some lazier ones in the past than I do now. And I've actually made quite a few mistakes along the way because I've had birds for 40 years. So you're going to see some of the things that I've done in the past and how we're working on it now. And hopefully you can take some good takeaways. So we're going to start out with this. This is from Dr. Oros. And while feeding our birds is a good and wholesome diet is important, that alone will not keep them healthy. Just like us, exercise is critically important. Exercise allows parrots to retain bone strength, and keeps joints working properly. It may also help to reduce fat deposits in the blood vessels, and it has been shown to improve heart performance. Along with that, it promotes proper perfusion of organs, particularly kidney and liver. So this was an article that she wrote off, and it's on lafebers.com. So why is exercise so important? It's because a parrot's metabolism is very high paced, and to be able to support the amount of activity and energy needed to survive in the wild. Flying, raising babies, and finding food are a few examples. Why parrots have become domesticated, the food is more abundant because it's just there in a cage, and movement is less because they are confined than their wild cousins. Because of this, we end up with an array of medical, physical, and emotional issues. So when our parrots are not kept busy and active, they can become insecure, they can become overweight, depressed, sickly, destructive, bored, and it can cause a lot of behavior issues. Sedentary parrot has a higher chance of developing heart disease, atrophy if they're not using their wings, shortness of breath, diabetes, foot sores, to name a few. And this will all add to reducing the years of your parrot's lifespan. Now that is my Harley. That is my little perch potato who was extremely lazy. No matter what I did, the best I could get him to do was walk. So when a parrot has the ability to fly, every part of the parrot will be healthier. And I wrote it like that because I was going to say the organs will be healthier, this will be healthier, but everything will be healthier. You know, the appearance of their feathers, because they have to keep them in good shape in order to fly. So we have the brain function. And I put it in this order because this all happens within seconds when they start to fly. So you have the brain function, thinking how and where to land, distance and strength, what they need to get there. The respiratory system, the air flowing through the lungs and the air sacs. Now, I would think that they take a big breath before they decide to fly off, just like we decide before we're going to run, we take a breath and we run. The muscles are all working together to move. The cardiovascular system is getting the blood flowing and the heart really pumping. The joints are moving, it's smoothing their movements, it's keeping them, pliable, so they're, unlike, people that don't move around a lot, have joint pain and knee pain and foot pain and all that other kind of stuff, and the feet are also moving and grasping. Oops. Hold on, something just happened here. I don't know what happened. Wait a minute. Do this. I got a pointer instead of, there we go. Okay, so in the wild, babies learn how to fly just as they're weaning. Breeders will tell you that they'll see a slight reduction of weight at this time because they're busy flapping their wings and running around and learning about toys. So if babies are not given the opportunity to fledge, they'll be more reluctant as adults to fly. This doesn't mean that they will never fly. They can become fantastic flyers. Flying takes strong ability, physical ability, and mental acuity to perfect. Older birds just learning can be a little less graceful, especially when landing. I hear this all the time with my page members. but anything is possible if the caregiver is willing to help the bird explore its wings. Now, this is my Sydney bell here. Notice his wings are clipped. So you have the clipped wings. These are some thoughts among people while they decide to clip or keep their birds fully flighted. Now, things to consider with clipping, the bird cannot gain height. That's because you took away that ability to do so. They cannot escape a predator if it gets outside, or if you have a dog or a cat inside that, you know, predatory drift takes hold. They're more dependent on the caregiver because they have to be able to get on you to get around. There's a higher chance of health issues because they're not moving. And that could lead to insecurities, fears, and phobias. Now, things to consider if your bird is fully flighted, you have confidence. They know they can get where they need to go. They're healthy all over with the body. Healthier organs. They have the ability to escape predators if they get out or in your home, and they can use their bodies as they were designed to. They were designed to fly. Now, with that said, no one has the right to tell you what works to keep your own parrot safe in your home. Only you know the risks that you have to deal with on a daily basis. But I will tell you, your bird will be healthier if it is able to fly safely. That's the main word, within your home. So all my guys through the years, again, I've had birds over 40 years, my guys have been clipped because back then, you know, some of these pictures are 20 and 35 years old. Back then, that's what we thought was the best to keep them safe. So mine were always clipped all along. And then one time, my husband got deployed. And it was only me in the house. So I was able to control the doors, the windows, the toilet seat, the water in the sink. I was able to control the entire environment. So when he was away, everybody grew their wings in. The only ones I never clipped were my special able birds like Emma, and I had a couple cockatiels that, you know, had deformities and they needed their wings for balance, but everybody else was clipped. When my husband came home, we needed to train him to watch for the birds before he opened the door, before he opened the toilet seat. He always had to keep in mind. So I put little notes on the door. Birds are out, regardless if the birds are out. This way he had to turn his head and physically look. And then he went the extra step of putting screen doors on, you know, in case he forgot to look at the main door, he can look at the screen door. And that's how we designed the bird room we have now with doors to keep them as safe as we can. So it can be done. But if you have little children running around, it's a little harder to do. Some birds may not be able to fly due to a medical condition such as heart and lung disease, or being special able, but there are plenty of other activities that can be done to encourage exercise. That may be walking on the floor, chasing a ball, foraging, flapping on a boing or a play stand. So there you have a little cockatiel that was Cricket. She had deformed feet. She did a lot of flapping and she also did a lot of walking. You have Ollie in the middle. The only thing that's wrong with him, I think he's got a little something going on in his head where he's not right, but he gets on his back and he zooms around the bottom of his cage. And he'll keep going around and around and around circles and hitting every side of the cage. And then you have Emma, who's in my arm there. And one of her favorite things to do is to lay on her back and I tickle her belly and she roughhouses with her feet and grabs onto me. She never bites. She never does anything like that. But I think she's more secure on her back because she's not top heavy. She has a twisted neck and spine. So she'll do a lot of playing on her back with balls and everything else. So now we have alternatives to flying. You can play games with your birds, such as tossing a ball, letting them toss it back. Sometimes they do it all by themselves. Showering, if they like it, will encourage wing flapping. And that's how you know the bird is liking it, because he's flapping his wings and then subsequent preening. Remember, you don't want to be doing this on a daily basis. Feathers need time to completely dry between showers to keep the feathers healthy. Provide play areas away from the cage that will encourage movement and play, such as boings, swing, cargo nets, ladders for climbing. Provide destructible, manipulative, and foraging toys to encourage your bird with movement. Dance like no one's watching with your parrot. You have fun. one-on-one training sessions with your parrots. That's an excellent way, and pretty much everything you're doing and interacting with your bird every day is a training session, and it's building trust between you two. So you can always encourage, the exercise at that time. Climbing, create climbing opportunities in the cage. Don't place perches so close that they can just cross over a perch. So this, for instance, this is Emma, and you can see that none of her perches are really close together. She has to get on the cage bars to get to the next perch. Now, the reason I did it like that was to encourage more movement. And if you have perches that are just laying on top of each other and a bird never has to touch the side of the cage, you're just really creating more of a lazy bird. So now we want to do, we also want to create a foraging station. So let me see, let me get out of screen share for a minute. If I can stop sharing. Okay, hopefully everybody can see me. Raise your hand if you can see me. Okay. All right, so okay, I see all the hands going up. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do is, you see all the birds behind me. And what I mean by a foraging station is you want to give them different spots to climb around and find things. It doesn't always have to be food. It can be a favorite toy. So everybody else in the room has their favorite toy already. I put 4 different things on them, from them walk around the trees and get. But I'm going to do it for Abby, and I wanted to do that live so you can see her move around. So this is Abby right here. Okay, make sure, yeah. Okay, she gets a little feisty when I'm on the computer. So, for instance, here's just a simple paper bag, and it's got a little solar ball inside. So I'm going to hang that somewhere. So she has to climb up and get it. And you can see she's already interested in it. And I got to get out of the way quick because, okay, there you go. So that's keeping her busy. Next thing is going to be a simple little mahogany pot. She also likes these. So as I go around the back here and she sees it, she knows she can come over here and get it. Okay, you'll be a good girl. There it is. All right. So this is exercise. This is giving them something to do. It's just not handing them something. I'm going to have her come back over here. This is just a little Dixie cup, little treat inside. So you can see she's got all these things that she's interested in. And the last thing, this is just cupcake paper, and not the kind with the tinfoil, just plain paper, and it's got a cashew in it. So I'm going to put this over in your bowl. Okay, did you see that? Oh, okay, go get it. So now, for those of you who have the split screen, you'll be able to watch and see if she starts moving around back there and using all her stuff. I can't guarantee it, again, because she's very interested in the computer. So let's go back to screen share. Okay, current slide. Okay. All right, so that's what I mean by create a foraging station. That can be done in the cage, it can be done on trees or any kind of play stand, but you want to make sure that they're able to move around to get the stuff and keep them busy, and that's exercise. So here, when my guys were clipped, and you can see that pretty much everybody was, except for Emma hanging upside down, they had boings, they had swings, they were allowed to play on the couch or the bed and roll around and do stuff like that. But I will say that they are much healthier now that they are able to fly. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little exercise here. And I want you to think about what exercises the birds are doing and what part of the body that is being benefited by what they're doing. What kind of exercise? Is it the leg? Is it the neck? Is it the jaw? What is getting exercise here? So this is Rocket, and he's on a perch, and he's learning to scratch his head with a little cup. And he's balancing on one leg. He's, you know, he's bowing his head down, and these are things that he would not normally do. I'm sorry, my neighbor is out with his lawnmower, so the birds are warning me. So here we have Conrad. Conrad loves to climb the stairs, and the owners think it's really good exercise for him. So in the chat, climbing, what do you think, what kind of exercise is he getting? What part of his body is being benefited by climbing the stairs? You guys can write that in there. Okay, I see some things coming up. Legs, yes. Legs and neck. Yeah, legs, heart, all excellent. And this is what I saw. Now, of course, you guys are looking at it. That's great. You're telling me what else to look for because you saw some things that I didn't, which are true.
Beak, yep.
I saw a good exercise for the legs, feet, wings, neck, beak. Core, there we go. That's good. Okay, now we're going to go to Pedro. He's on his harness outside. He is protected. You can see his wings are clipped. So he is flapping. So what exercise is he getting? Again, in the chat for any of these, what exercise is wing flapping doing for him? I saw Patricia. They probably would have some sort of core. Okay, balance, wings, feet. Yep, very good. I say good exercise for the legs, the neck, because it's moving, feet, and the wings too. Okay, now we're going on to Zippy. And Zippy is fortunate to go on walks every day in his backpack. Now this is on the owner's back, as any backpack would be. So as she's walking, he's bouncing a little bit up and down. What exercise is he getting? Uh-oh. Okay.
Feet.
Okay, wait a minute. I don't know why this went. Okay, there we go. Sorry, the chat took over.
I was giving people time to answer.
Okay, good. Very good. Okay, balance. Yep. Legs, feet, mental stimulation. I love the mental stimulation here. That's fantastic. And it's true. So I see leg and foot strength. Yes, sunshine is very important. So now we're going to go to Dusty, and this is where all my videos start to come in. So let me see if I can get this going. Oh. Okay, so this is leg scratching or chicken scratching as we call it with Grays. Let me know what you see here. Somebody was spotted. She thought she was alone. Okay, so we have scratching. These are all things we would probably never consider some sort of exercise, but it is, and it's things we want to work on and encourage. Now this, Cindy is specifically saying that she's in her box, and this does not produce hormone stimulation with Dusty. Okay, it's not for everybody, but it works for her. Okay, so that's wonderful. So beak, legs, yep. Foot strength, leg strength. Okay, next one, here we got Ruby. And I'm sorry, I got to keep moving things around on here to get them to play. Okay, I am going to make this small, the chat small, so everybody can go on their own there, because it's distracting me from what I'm doing. So we have toy play. What is that showing? Foot, leg, jaw, and neck. There you go. So this is all stuff we want to encourage. Now here we have Magoo. Magoo is a little mischievous at times. So simple things. This is exercise. He's not sitting on his perch, just hanging out. He's given the opportunity to throw things and be a bird. Okay, and here we got the second one. Okay, now think what kind of exercise he's getting here. Oop. Neck, jaw, leg, he's got a balance. Conrad, this is a cute one. These guys can keep themselves very busy for a long time like this. They usually like bottles with the caps on. Okay, so he's exercising his legs, his feet, I should say feet, neck and jaw. Getting a lot of running there, that's great. Here we have Tig. Okay, he's chewing on his little Nutriberry. Ah, crap, he dropped it. So he's got to get out and get it. I love that little hop. Okay. And then he goes back up. So he is getting exercise with his beak, his leg. Again, I should say feet. And he dropped it again. So he's getting a little workout there today. And there he goes again. All right, now here we have Emma. And this is after we come into our room in the morning. Again, I just don't hand them stuff to eat. They need to work to get something. So here they are coming for a cashew. Okay, and then over here, we have Abigail. Okay, so they're getting exercise climbing around. Now, you saw me call Sammy, and she did not feel that what I was offering her was enough value to actually come over. So we had to do something else with her. Now, this is where you guys are gonna laugh. I promised you that you'd probably see me running around in my pajamas and doing a couple other things. So I wanted to exercise Sammy besides her flying. So there you go. Now, in the beginning of the video, you can see that her beak is open a little bit, her wings are out, and she's bopping. And then she saw my phone, which is silver, and she saw her reflection. And then she stops. So her dancing, oop, legs, neck, feet, and wings. Okay, so here is Bud. And this video is a little long, but it shows you what trust they have going on here. So Bud is not able to fly from what I understand, so they have to get exercise somewhere. You can tell he's excited by his crest being up. And we're gonna, now listen good. The bird said, I love that, just in case you didn't hear it. So this was exercise between the two of them, and the bird was having a lot of fun. And that's strengthening his legs, beak, neck, and they were stimulating for him. So here is simple talking. Again, something we probably wouldn't think of as exercise. Watch the body. So by simple talking, Grace is getting a lot of exercise. Okay. Now, if you listen to Sterling, he's also talking to his ball. So my guys come in my room. I don't necessarily let them on the floor. They come in my room and go on my bed. Sydney's got a little cut short because he was getting a little too excited and huffy puffy there. So this is one time, well, really the only time the guys are allowed on the floor, very rare, is in the room. And I did this to take videos because Sterling gets so excited. And watch. And he's talking to whatever it is as well. Okay, so he's running around. Now this one is actually very cute because we talked about the Kaik hop. Well, here you have the gray hop. So he has a bad hip and he's on medication for his hip. And you can tell that he's at 40 years of age. He's still very active and having fun. Okay, I love this one. And in the chat, again, let me know what Lola exercise, what she's getting. Look at that face. She wants to do it again. We can all do this. We all have spoons, we all have a table, and that's great exercise. She is exercising everything. And now we're going to get into flying. This is the ultimate exercise if we're able to do it. Hold on, I'm moving things around again. So how far can a parrot fly in a day? The average distance is said to be about 30 miles, but distances will vary due to many factors such as species, age, size, metabolism rate, food, water availability, foraging habits, habitat, migratory tendencies, and flying in the headwinds or having tailwinds. My husband had to add in, if it's a boy bird, he might fly a little bit longer if he's, trying to get some. That was from my husband. So here we have Shabaka. And let's see. Now, if he didn't want to do that, he could have left that perch anytime. So he was having fun there. He's exercising. He's getting his strength. He's doing what he should be doing. Now we have one that is fully flighted. And this is a nightly occurrence. So Jazzy's getting her exercise and she's putting herself to sleep every night. So here we have Esther, and this is some really good clicker training that she's starting with here. There you go. So Esther is learning, and she's probably going to be a very good flyer, and the owner's doing a real good job training her. So now, in the beginning, I showed you a picture of Sydney, and I told you that he was clipped until my husband went away and he grew his feathers in, and he was able to fly around the house. So Sydney went through a phase where he was following me everywhere. And regardless whether I told him to come or not, he was coming. So I agreed to it, and we made it a big special deal. So this is my old house, and he was sitting on the bed waiting for me. I was in the bathroom. So again, that was a bird who spent many years being clipped and then learned how to fly, and you could see land. Now this is Roxy, and Roxy's doing quite good. Now I would suggest if you're doing flying through the house, you're going to see a fan on here. Make sure you have the fan off if your bird's learning and doesn't know, because that can do some damage. So just keep that in mind for people who are starting and trying out. Be mindful of the fan. Now Roxy's got some excellent area to fly around in. Now watch how far she goes. And again, she can work her way throughout the house. You can hear her up there reinforcing herself, telling her she's a good girl. And Joan is doing great with letting her see where she's going. And there you go. So Roxy's got two different spots where she can land and go back and forth and get in as much flying as she wants. So here we have Emma, my special abled bird, and she can't fly on her own because of her neck and spine. She flies in the shape of a horseshoe. So she'll try her hardest. She's a great jumper. She has the ability to push off her tree and hit the ceiling just by jumping, but to go anywhere, she makes it about 8 feet and comes right back at you. So I have to work a little bit different with her. In the morning, this is how we have to take her out. Everybody knows about that giant poop in the morning, so you don't want that on your carpet. And then once she does that, we'll walk back out into the living room, and this is how I get her to her tree. Now, as you can see, she also stopped in the middle. And that's another problem she has, is when she's done, she just stops flapping and she falls. So I'm holding her feet, because if I didn't, she would have just, fainted back, or a movement of a faint backwards and landed on the floor. So watch that again. See? She does not hold on for anything. Okay, so I was not in my pajamas. I got changed for this, but this is the morning routine. See, I'm telling them somebody go. I'm not making them. Now, I'll do this 3 times with everybody. That's nearly not enough of what they would obviously get in the wild, but that's what we do every morning. Okay, now here we have Sam, kind of showing you the distance more. And she just started learning how to fly about 3 years ago. She was always clipped as well. And when she came to me, we let her wings grow in, and she's a very decent flyer. So now this is Sterling, because yesterday when I was filming all this, or the day before when I was filming all this, the morning routine was just a little bit different, and they didn't have their food as soon as they wanted, because I was trying to get everybody filming them getting out there, and he got a little impatient. So he'll do this several times day and night. I'm usually sitting on a chaise lounge, and he'll come over and he'll land right by me so he can hang out. So, and again, this bird, I didn't clip his wings. He always clipped off his own, and he's 40, and it's probably the last year that he's left them alone and is actually flying daily. This is a nightly routine. This is Abby, okay? I can't let them fly back in on their own, because again, where they're located to where their night room is, it's kind of like a horseshoe shape. So they can't make that turn, it's too small. Now you'll see with Emma, she is very ready and willing to go. Then we get to that same spot where I got to take the U-turn. Once we get to their door, I will let them fly in. And that's Sterling. Okay, so again, going back, I know this one's a little bit harder to view, but this shows you just what good flyers they can become if given the chance. Now again, this is Sydney. Background history is my husband was already to bed, everybody was already in bed, and it was time to get Sydney upstairs to his cage in his little sleep room off of his Boeing. Now I'll point out where he is. He usually climbed all the way up to the ceiling here. As the video starts to play, you'll see a little gray spot in here, and watch where he goes. It's right about here. So he flew up the staircase, down the hall, and landed on his cage. So if you give them the ability, you know, or the opportunity, I should say, to fly, exercise them, you could start off by having them on your hand. And how I did it, you saw it with Emma. I'll get her on my hand. I'll walk a little bit faster. That's how I started with everybody as their wings were growing in. And as they got more confident, they just ended up taking off my hand and I didn't have to do any more walking or running. So observe your birds, see what they're doing on a daily basis, see how you can improve or prolong maybe their play. Give them a spoon, try that tabletop thing, see what they think, and try to get them to exercise as much as possible because you will be happy, your vet will be happy, and your bird will be healthy. So thank you for joining in.
Okay. Hey, so Lisa, are they when they're flying to their play gym, do they ever make a detour and go on their flock mates' play gyms? And
no, which I'm actually surprised. Abby will always land on her cage. Okay, I guess because it's easier than trying to land on a perch that might not be in the right spot for her. And Sterling will always land on Sydney's cage. But they know, you know, because he's older, he's the one who's only been flying for about a year and he's learning how to really maneuver and stuff. So I expect him to start landing on his tree soon.
oh, so it's great that they have the routine, like they know what to kind of expect, right?
Yes. Yep. And
Very
it's, like I said, Sterling will fly anytime. They have the ability to fly whenever they want. You know, but it's mainly Sterling that will fly out into the living room. Sam did it the night before, but she ended up in the kitchen. I think she was trying to fly to my husband, but put too much emphasis on the flight and overshot
it. All right. So let's see if we do have some questions for you. That was an excellent, man, those videos, that was great to see because you hear people make recommendations, but to actually see it in practice is another next level example. So, all right. So we have a question from Glenna. Do the larger parrots learn to let you hold their foot? So they touch their budgie's toe and they're getting a little bit bit and then they fly off. So big birds versus little birds.
I've always done that again because it was something that we were told to do, and I'm very thankful I do it with Emma because there'd be a lot of falls. I actually started, you know, I offer my hand like this, like I'm going to shake somebody's hand. And then when the bird steps up, let me see if I can get Emma. Let's see, who wants to come here? Not you. Yeah, sweetheart. Okay, so when she steps up, I give her my hand like this, and then I lightly, I'm barely even touching her on her toes. I started down here with the nail and then just moved up a little bit. And I could do it with all the birds. So. Yeah.
Well, just so that you know, Glenna, my budgie does the same. He won't let me hold his toe. He kind of chooses, he's always flying on me and wants to hang out on his terms. And then then he's, you know, it's always on his terms though. And then he flies away to kind of go back to his cage. But yeah, I can never get my finger on his foot. So,
well, there's some like, you know, Sam came to me when she was about 20, 24, 25, 26. I don't know if her toes were ever held before, but I could hold hers. And same thing with Abby. You know, when she came to me, she was like 14 and I could still touch hers. Not now because she's a little excited, but yes. So you barely touch their toes, but it's there in case they need it.
Okay. Oh, I don't know if so Brenda just threw out this factoid that one tip, if your bird is left-handed, hold your if your bird is left-handed, hold their right foot and vice versa. They don't like to have their dominant foot held as much. That's interesting. Makes sense.
Okay.
There we go. All right. And then let's see if we have other questions. Yeah, I'm wondering, if some of the like the smaller birds, going back to like the budgie and like the ones that they seem to be a little more flighty in general, like you know, fluttering back and forth, and hopefully they're very ginormous and a spacious cage. So when you get them out, it's it seems like it's might be a little bit more challenging to target train like little budgies. I don't know. Have you had success with that or experience?
Well, I usually suggest do it in a smaller room, because you don't want to start out in some giant room with, 20-foot ceilings and the budgie land up on the curtains all the way at ceiling, because that's not going to be good. So if you go, I usually, did a lot of mine in the bedroom, because the ceilings were lower and they were on the bed, and, we could start from there. It's a neutral area and not a lot to get away.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Or with a cockatiel, maybe like do you think a mirror could help with recall? Because some of the males.
Yeah, I usually didn't use any kind of mirrors. I mean, just because they can get hurt that way, and then they'll lose interest in what you're trying to do. So a lot of times I would cover the mirrors in the bedroom. When Sterling was just learning to fly, we were back by the door where I showed you the distance. And instead of him flying to the room, he flew 3 feet into like an old coat rack I had that has a mirror on it. It's like an antique coat rack. And then he landed on a Lennox base and almost knocked that over. So I grabbed that and I grabbed him. So when we go in there and we do it now, I'll put my hand up in front of the mirror so he can't go that way, and he goes this way.
Okay, that kind of segues into this question from Barbara, that how do you make sure they don't hit the windows?
Well, if you have blinds, pull them down, close the curtains, try to be in a room that doesn't have a lot of windows. I can tell you that as Sydney was learning, he hit a couple windows. One night when he flew upstairs, he took a wrong turn and he ended up in my bedroom, which had no lights on. And I heard him, he hit something, but usually when they fly and they land somewhere or they slide under something, they're not going to answer you. So it's like a panic, where are you? And so I'm calling and I'm looking, is he in the bathroom? Is he in the spare room? Where'd he go? And I turned on the light in the bedroom and I had a burgundy wall and there was this feather dust on the wall. So
yeah, you can see it.
It was a perfect shape of the bird. So he hit the red wall and then he slid down and there he was. So.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So Brenda just says she's going to show a video clip. Let's see what's, if we do a screen share here. There we go. Aha.
This is an old time trainer, but if you'll just watch, he's using natural flocking behavior to work with the birds. We'll just show a little bit of this.
Yeah, this guy was entertaining.
But this is just all playtime for the birds.
Right.
Oh, interesting. They're budgies. So
yeah, well, someone was asking about the small birds, so I want you to see that with flocking behavior.
Oh my goodness, that's adorable. Look at them. Wow.
There's no treats, no nothing, just natural behavior.
Wow. Oh my goodness, he stepped it up a more with the turning over the cylinder. That's awesome.
The single bird wants to get back to the flock. He has to do the task to get back to the flock. Just simple as that.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
It's fascinating. This
Look how well they're just sitting there too.
Yeah.
Wow.
They're fully flighted.
Yeah. Wow.
Just using their normal agility.
Oh my goodness.
So we can put a clip to this.
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
So everyone can watch it.
Boy, I would love to see my budgie do some of those things. I I'd have to get more budgies though, so that might be. Okay, that was fascinating. Thank you. I just love seeing some of the little guys. They're underestimated for their
Yes.
abilities to do amazing things. So that was great. Thank you very much for sharing that. Let's see. Do we have it? Okay. Let's see. Do we have any other? Oh, I do have some questions coming in.
Sydney, stop.
Okay, so hey, here's a question for you. Cindy wants to know, how do you get them to try and fly if they're like 28 and have never flown? Cindy was saying that theirs seems very bottom heavy and is frightened to let go. So how do you kind of encourage a bird that's never been fully flighted to?
I would get him on your hand, make sure you have his little toe, and start walking a little faster and see how he reacts. If he bends down and lifts his wings up a little bit, you know, he's starting to engage with you. I've been seen running through the house because I just wasn't moving quick enough. So I started running and they started flapping. Sydney, stop. So yes, so that's how I would start doing it. I prefer using my hand versus anything else, versus a dowel or a towel or anything like that, because they need to be able to hold on good.
Okay. And let's see. Let's see. Barbara, let me see here. What we got here going? So Barbara had a tip. They said that they taught their birds, a conure, gray, cockatoo, macaw, to let the hold the foot, starting with the nails, then the toes, and this avoids twisting the toes if that's a problem. So there's a little tip from her experience. So we question, how do you help a Congo African Grey develop the confidence to fly? Are these confident flyer birds?
My guys have been, which are surprisingly, and you know, Emma tries quite a bit. You know, when I see Emma fly, if she takes off, I'll usually just stand right there. I'll stand up and stand there because she's going to come right back. You know, and then, you know, I end up catching her so she doesn't hit the floor. But the rest of mine have been pretty confident. Sterling was the hardest because he did clip his wings. He chewed off his own wings for many, you know, 38, 39 years. So, and he's very heavy, and I could tell the difference in the wing beats with him. I could hear him, and you know, it's him versus Abby or Sam or anybody because of the sound of the weight from him. But he was the one that I would usually really be running through the house with him on my hand, and I wouldn't jerk him down like this. I would have him up there. You heard me in the videos either saying, come on, or somebody go, or are you ready? And I would give him the opportunity to do it. So if Sterling was on my hand and I started running around and his wings would go down, you know, he'd bend down and his wings would go up a little bit, you know, he was showing me that he was getting interested. And as his wings started to grow in, and, you know, he'd start to flap, and then he'd realize, well, he doesn't need me anymore. So
there you go.
So start with a slow walk through the house and watch his body language, see how he behaves and reacts to what you're doing, and then move a little quicker and see if he likes that.
Okay, and then someone had a question about a good way to redirect from nest seeking to playing with objects. So their bird has a hanging ball, a window, and a play table, and she will forage for food and chew in wood, but doesn't really play. So
okay, I try that table trick with the spoon. Let her see herself in a spoon, and that's most likely what Lola was doing. Lola is very rambunctious to begin with, and it's very good because she just took a few days out in the wild, and she was, you know, smart enough to survive and get back home. So, you know, try that little table trick with the spoon, let them see it in there, toss it, make the noise. Again, nesting a lot of times is going to happen when we are either giving them boxes or something to get into, or creating a nest cavity, or letting them on the floor. That's part of the reason I don't let my guys on the floor. I have a 40-year-old 35 or something like that year old, 25-year-old, and 2 20-year-olds. I've never had an egg. So I don't let them on the floor. I don't let them get under things. And that's all part of nesting. So you have to kind of stop that cycle.
Okay. I think that is, oh boy, that went by quick, and that's our time for today. So I got to announce today's winner of our product giveaway, which is the Lafeber foraging pack. And that is going out to Peter Goldberg. So congratulations, you're getting the foraging kit as well as another Lafeber product of your bird's choice. So hopefully that makes you and your bird's weekend. Also, next Friday, we have Dr. Tom Tolley back with us for Ask the Vet. And then just everyone mark your calendars. Just another reminder, in October 21st, exact, we are going to be celebrating our 100th webinar episode, and that is with Dr. Lamb. She's going to be in the field at the macaw recovery product. I think she's being going to be broadcasting live from Costa Rica. So mark your calendars for that. Oh, and here we go.
Yes, and somebody asked if telling them to stop really works. Sometimes it does. Sometimes you got to redirect attention, and that's what I'm doing with Sydney, getting him away from his tree and making him do something else so he doesn't scream.
Ah, there you go. He's like, I want to say hi to everybody.
Well, they're used to the computer because when my husband was deployed, we would do this.
Oh, that's great. So there you go. There's an idea for everybody. Just kind of do some zooming with your friends and family with your birds. See if they or other bird friends. There we go. Oh my goodness. So thank you so much, Lisa, for that. I hope that's inspired people to get their birds up and moving. And another positive step to good health. So there you go. And all right, on that note, until next time, everyone have a great weekend. All the best to you and your flock, and stay safe. And thanks again, Lisa.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.